Probably about 2 years ago, we got engaged by an organisation called 1 in 4, who are an advocacy and therapy service for people who've been subject to long-term sexual abuse in particular, and also priest abuse as well as family abuse. And they asked us to come over and train their therapists, 11 therapists and 3 advocates that work for the service, in the sort of more complex use of restorative conferencing in sensitive and complex cases. So they already had the skills to deal with this long-term abuse in a very real way, but what they wanted to do was offer something beyond just financial settlement and advocacy to help people go through the courts. They wanted people to get real repair to the harm and maybe some answers that you wouldn't get in a normal court situation. So having trained them, they had the good sense to realise that they needed to gradually bed this in and not immediately take on the bigger cases. So for a while, we were engaged. IIRP was asked to come over and deal with a few cases there, one of which ended up with a face-to-face meeting with a very senior member of the clergy in Ireland. Unfortunately for the victim of the abuse, the priest had died prior to the opportunity to meet. So the church, the hierarchy, took their place, I suppose, to apologise on behalf of the church for what they'd done. But I suppose the more important bit was that the victim had the opportunity to talk about the problems with the system currently, of where they treat victims of abuse on a sort of a sliding tariff scale, almost like a car accident, as to how much they're going to be paid out. And there was no real personal engagement, and that's what restorative processes offered, this much more personal engagement with the church. So that was really beneficial. Beyond that, I've just recently handled a case within England that again was a priest abuse case, which resulted in a meeting just recently between the offender, who had actually served time in jail, 2.5 years in jail for the offending, and the victim, who after 10 years still hadn't found closure despite him being imprisoned, and was able to hold a very strongly emotional meeting between the two of them that resulted in her writing to me and saying she's never had such a good night's sleep for years.